Hi, welcome to Ear for Fear. I'm Rick, and this is the podcast that talks about scary movies or movies trying to be scary. Today, joined by one of the creeps, Sleepy D.
Wiggity, wiggity, wiggity.
Darren Lindsay is in the house, y'all.
What's up, man?
Thanks for coming on out. It's been a bit.
Yeah.
It's been a bit.
God, how long ago was it?
It's been a while, right? It's been a few months.
Yeah.
At least 2 or 3 months, if not longer. I'm trying to remember the last episode.
What was the episode? I don't even remember what the episode was.
I don't remember either. We're freaking old as hell.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me though, it's because I edit your stuff.
Yeah.
There's been so many episodes since the last one I did with you I have edited that I just don't even remember now.
I don't remember which one. I don't even remember the last episode we did.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. We're here though. And you and I are going to be talking about John Carpenter's They Live.
Oh, awesome movie.
From 1988.
Yeah.
Before you and I jump into this thing, let's do a quick rundown. A down on his luck construction worker discovers a pair of special sunglasses. Once he puts them on, he is able to see that the world has been taken over by aliens in charge of a massive campaign to keep all humans subdued.
I've got one that can see.
All right, man. So They Live. Hey, really quick before we jump into this, I'm just wondering if the audience, all our listeners out there are wondering why I call you Sleepy D.
Oh, shit.
So I'm going to share this. Back in the day, Darren used to be in a rap group, believe it or not. And he was a lyrical madman back in the day.
Shit.
So that's why I call him Sleepy D, because that was his name.
Dude,
how long ago was that?
Oh, my God, dude. Let's see. Well, I started dabbling in that like back in the mid to late 80s, but it was kind of in the early 90s when I kind of was in that group, and we would mostly do parties, and we did an occasional club.
Did you really?
Yeah, like once or twice. I mean, that was kind of cool.
What was the name of the group?
Oh God, we didn't really have it.
You didn't have a name?
Yeah, not really.
It wasn't like Sleepy D and the
no.
What's the Grandmaster? The Furious 8 or something?
Yeah, no, it was not anything like that. But the Sleepy D was actually a nickname that was given. It was actually before I got into that rap thing. The group.
Okay.
Yeah. Some friends nicknamed me that because, way back then I would partake on the reefer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And well, back then it was illegal, but now it's, pretty much light up while you're driving down the road.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's so much more accepted these days.
It is. Yeah. So what would happen is we'd all pass around the joint, and I, within 10, 15 minutes, I would just get really sleepy. And I would literally go to sleep, man. Everybody's like partying and I'm just all like,
there's a huge party going on and you're on the couch sleeping.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So, it just stuck. It just stuck. And so then when I did the rap thing, it just seemed to make sense. Oh, we just call him Sleepy D.
Yeah, it's a cool name.
Sleepy Daisy.
Yeah. And I know I've said it a few times. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to share with the listeners if they care or not. I just thought it was something we could bring up.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. I mean, not to get into the weeds on it or anything like that, but I remember some people, I was talking with someone and they, because I'm really into I'm into metal.
Yes.
And,
yes.
I mean, that's kind of just been a mainstay staple. I mean, I was a Metallica fan back, when they formed,
Oh yeah.
And, and Pink Floyd is also a huge influence for me.
I know this. And you got your Pink Floyd shirt on
today. Yeah. So when I think I was having a conversation with somebody years ago, and it came up, you know, I'm like, where'd you get the Sleepy D thing from? You know, and then I explained the whole thing, and they couldn't understand the connection between what they know of me, which is into Metallica and metal and even the Pink Floyd thing, to this rap phase. And I don't know, that was hard for me too to describe. Like because I hadn't really been asked that question. Like why would you go from that to the, you know, and somebody else that was in the conversation happened to say like, well, it makes sense to me, you know, and then we all like stopped and looked, and I'm all, it doesn't make sense to me. So
I went through it. Yeah.
And they said something to the effect of both of those genres of music. Cause again, we're not talking about rap now.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about rap back then, and rap back then was gangster rap.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they had said, well, both of those genres of music, gangster rap and that like hardcore thrash metal, they're both extremes.
True.
So it's like, if you are into one form of music that is very, I don't know. I mean, it's very kind of extreme and hardcore and in your face and gritty, you know, well, that's just another form of that same thing. So
True. And now would you say, and this is completely unintentional, but would you say that, you know, growing up you were like kind of against authority, like, and so if you think about metal and you think about gangster rap, right, like the message is against authority, and you know we're gonna, you know, which is funny because it leads us right into John Carpenter's whole message here was like, you know, his hatred for authority, and so it's you know, I would say that it's kind of a good little tie-in to what we're doing on this. Completely not intentional.
And it was not intentional.
No.
Very much so, man. You know how it is with, well, not every kid, but some kids, you know, you rage against everything. You know, when I was a teenager, you know, I was chock full of angst, and that angst was directed at my parents. It was directed at school. It was directed towards people that would bully when I was in elementary school, you know what I mean? And so that angst and anger and pent up emotion has to come out somewhere.
Exactly.
And it typically for that, you know, comes out in culture, you know, music and, you know, and that sort of thing. And so, I very much gravitated to just the most hardcore, you know, and then I would turn it up full blast because I knew it pissed my parents off, you know, and I'm like, I don't care. And I'd stick the fucking finger up, you know, and, you know, fuck you people, you know, and I mean, it was a total rage against authority and rage against, you know, and I mean, I'd go to school with like these, you know, well, everything is black with Metallica, but you know, black rock shirts, you know, Judas Priest or Iron Maiden, whatever.
Oh, sure.
Ripped up, faded jeans with bandana shit like all over, and you know, and lots of I don't know, like gothic
I know
crosses
exactly.
and chains and
like
stuff,
and jean jackets with like patches and crazy shit. Like,
dude.
Yeah.
And I, you know, when I would like draw all over them.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just a total rage and giant middle finger to basically anybody that
I still can't get over. And I've known you almost 30 years here, I think. And when I see old pictures of you with long rocker hair, oh my God, it cracks me up, because when you and I met back in, gosh, man, like we met in early 90s, like 92-ish. And you had the short hair, which is what you have these days. I didn't know you when you had that long rocker hair. Yeah. And so when I see a picture, it cracks me up. I'm like, you know, so.
To those listening, man, I mean, if you give a crap. Yeah, I did. I used to have long flowing, like that 80s Metallica.
Totally.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you headbang.
Shit, dude.
I headbang the hair right off, and now I'm bald as fuck.
It's bald. Yeah. That happens as we get older, right?
It does. Yeah.
My shit's been receding for years.
Yeah. It's
and these days, what's gone is my eyesight. Look, you know me. My eyes have been terrible for years. I'm getting to a point where I can't read shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm finding myself being that old guy. Like when we were younger, we make fun of our whoever, our grandfather or uncles or whatever.
mm-hmm.
And they're looking at something, they have to push it far away.
Yeah.
Just so it focuses.
Yeah.
That's
it's
me.
like your arms aren't long enough.
Oh my God. Dude, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's freaking terrible.
Yeah, that happens to me too, because I got the bifocal thing going on. I got the progressive glasses,
yeah.
you know. So, you know, it's like I got the whole distance thing, and then the you know, and yeah, it fucking sucks, man.
We've completely aged ourselves today.
Yep, we did.
It's okay.
Yep.
But anyways, I wanted to bring that up, dude. I don't know, just something I was thinking about, you know.
Yeah.
People are like, why the hell they call them sleepy deep? Well, there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
It is.
So They Live, man. 1988. John Carpenter, of course, my favorite director.
Yeah.
At least horror wise. You recommended this one.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you and I had seen this several times. Yeah, dude, this is a great movie. This is, you know, we're a horror podcast, and I guess we could argue this is almost sci-fi, but it has the elements of horror, you know.
I wasn't sure you were going to, I mean, because I know you love the movie. It wasn't about you not loving the movie, but when I had proposed this, I wasn't sure you were going to embrace it as a movie to do on the podcast, because it really, honestly, I find it to be more sci-fi than horror. It has some... I guess, you know, the aliens kind of look,
they're kind of horrific. I guess we could argue, like, you know, the horror genre, right? Something horrific happens. Those aliens were horrific looking, right? I mean,
they were.
The idea of these aliens being amongst us, right, and us not knowing is a horrifying feeling, right? Or
sure, you
know, so. But you're right. I would say it's more so sci-fi. I'm not a huge fan of sci-fi. This would probably be the exception. I mean, aliens too. Again, sci-fi horror, kind of a mixture. Aliens, you know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's I would classify this movie more as like action sci-fi. With a little sprinkling of horror elements.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna take that, because we need a little bit of horror elements to pass this in a horror podcast episode. But yeah, man, I remember seeing this when this came out in 88. Oh my gosh, in 88 I might have been living in Reno at the time. I don't think I graduated in 90. So I may either been in Reno or was moving back to California here.
Okay.
And I remember seeing this, digging this movie. In fact, I almost want to say I was working at the movie theater when this thing came out.
Huh.
Maybe if that was the case.
It was 1988.
God damn, I'm trying to remember, because I worked at the movie theater in Reno, and then when I moved down to California, I transferred with the same company. So more than likely, because I worked at the theater for a couple of years, and I think I quit in 1990. Or maybe it was 91. Shit, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I always dug this movie. This is a cool movie. Of course, it's John Carpenter. I love John Carpenter. You know, John Carpenter had a string of great movies. And then he kind of just, he doesn't do movies anymore. And then he did that abysmal, what was it, Ghosts of Mars, which I don't know what he was thinking.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, dude, just it's terrible. Huh. I think Ice Cube's in it. It's a really shitty movie. Anyone out there that likes it, I apologize, but I thought it was terrible. I don't know what he was thinking with that movie. There's been a couple other movies that he's done I've just not been a fan of. Look, I love Escape from New York, but Escape from LA was just kind of like it was just trying to capture whatever they captured in the first one. It just didn't work for me.
I hate when I don't know, directors or whoever makes those decisions. I hate when they do that.
Yeah.
It's like some movies just, I don't feel require a sequel. It's like The Money Man or whatever, that they see the ratings and how much money the first one made, and then they want to they want to try to capture that lightning in a bottle again, and then they just, I think they overthink it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't know what he was thinking. Was it because Escape from New York was so good, and maybe it's just because he hadn't done a movie with Kurt Russell in a little bit, and they've done a ton of movies together. Or maybe he just had another story that he felt he could tell that would be. It just didn't work for me.
No,
Like the idea of escaping from LA is cool, but it's just
the one where they. What was the premise of that one?
So there's some sort of okay. So the president's daughter steals like this box, and it can basically shut down like all the power, I think, in the world or something. And of course, they send Snake in to LA to try to get the box back. And yeah, dude.
And the whole thing with Escape from New York was that he goes in to get the president.
Yeah, Donald Pleasance. Yeah, he plays the president. These terrorists hijack the plane. He gets into Donald Pleasance. The president gets into the pod, shoots him. Basically, it's going to crash. Shoots him out. He lands in New York. New York is all the kind of like criminals have been thrown in New York, and so literally all of New York is like almost like one big prison, right?
Right.
And so the president is there and like, shit, well, we need the president back, at least the briefcase that he has, because it's a tape that we need for this, and then like, well, let's send Snake in, and Snake goes to get, and look, it's probably my favorite John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
You know what? Top 3 John Carpenter movies. Go.
Oh,
not best John Carpenter movies. Your favorite John Carpenter movies. I'll give you mine. Then you can think about yours.
Okay, thank you, because you can put me on the spot.
I know I am. Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, of course.
And probably Christine. And people are going to go, really, Rick? You left out Halloween and The Thing. I didn't say best. I said favorite.
Yeah.
I love The Thing and Halloween, but the other 3 I can watch all the time.
I'm going to say and not necessarily in any order.
Nope,
I'm going to say definitely The Thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Christine.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this movie.
They Live. Yeah.
Because of just, it's such a cult.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
it really, for the time, because the message behind this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
is capitalism, yuppies and capitalism, right? And it's kind of like John Carpenter's. It was kind of his poke at Reaganism. Was that they were called Reaganomics? Reaganomics,
that was his.
Yeah. So Reaganism or Reaganomics.
Economic package.
Which, of course, probably most of our listeners are like, well, who the hell is Reagan? Well, Ronald Reagan was an actor that turned president in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so, And so the 80s, like we've talked about before, was this kind of decade of just excess, right? And money and capitalism and all this shit. And so this was kind of John Carpenter's, kind of F you to it all, right?
And this was based off of a short story called 8 o'clock in the morning.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think by an author named Ray Nelson. Does that sound right?
That sounds right.
I didn't read the short story. I wanted to. I just didn't get the time. And it was from like the 60s. Maybe was it in a comic book or maybe based off of
it was in a comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another piece of trivia that I thought was interesting. I never really picked up on this, but then it made sense after I had read it. I'm like, oh yeah. Was it, Roddy Piper's character? He didn't even have a name. They refer to him as Nada. Yeah.
Which was nothing, right?
Like it means nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. Never says his name.
No.
Yeah.
No. Although I did read a thing where he does technically have a name. But it's never said in the movie.
It's never said.
But it's John, which is that's pretty anti-climactic.
Oh, that doesn't sound as cool.
No, not at all.
Not as cool,
John.
Right? Nada seems more like appropriate for this.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know. It's a very common. I mean, it's like, well, if it's gonna be a thing that's not said, damn thing better be cool.
Yeah,
not John or Fred.
No offense to any Johns.
I know, right? I mean, it's not about that, but I mean, it's just such an average name.
It is, dude.
Okay.
It's like John Doe or J Doe.
Yeah,
it's like,
right.
So before you and I guess, kind of talk about this, full spoilers. So if anyone hasn't seen They Live, you can shut us off, go check it out and come back. But this is still a movie for me that holds up. It anytime I watch an 80s movie, I miss the 80s.
They all have that really similar vibe.
They do.
I don't know if it was the production techniques that are all similar, or if it's that along with the type of equipment they use.
You think?
Well, I mean, cameras all have very distinct personalities in and of themselves.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like, like all the movies these days are all filmed, HD and everything is, they all use industry standard sort of stuff. So they all sort of have that, Now you can start getting in the weeds a little bit where there's maybe some different production techniques and this or that, but they all have a similar vibe to them, feel in terms of just its look.
Yeah.
And 80s movies are just like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, across the board. Not just on horror, but like on...
They all do. They all have that very similar look. I wonder if you're right. Maybe you are right with that. Maybe it's a camera or just a style. Maybe, you know.
Yeah.
I miss that style.
I know.
I mean, can you bring that style back? And I mean, because occasionally you'll see it like when people pay like homage to like, say, an old, I don't know, a slasher or something from the 80s. Sometimes they will... I don't know how they do it. Is it a camera or a technique? But they'll almost capture it. I'm like, damn, how did they do that?
Yeah.
It's interesting. But so man, let's do. How do you want to do this one? Do you want to just kind of, what we know is a Roddy Piper, which was fantastic in this movie. And if anyone remembers Roddy Piper, he's now he passed away years ago. Yeah. He was a wrestler back in the day with the WWF. Now I don't know what they call it. WWE.
Had a blood clot in his lung.
Is that what he died from?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's called something. My wife's a nurse, and she told me right away what it was.
That's terrible.
I don't remember the name of it. Some kind of pulmonary thing. Some kind of embolism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pulmonary something.
Yeah.
It's blood clot in the lung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he had done any movies up until They Live, but I know John Carpenter was looking for like a certain, I guess, person for this, and I think at the time WWF, which Vince McMahon wasn't going to let him do it. I don't know, he's probably under contract or something, know, but he was able to do it, and I thought, to me, I felt he was a natural at this.
Yeah,
like you get people that, like you get an athlete, right? And hey, let's give him a movie, and they are just terrible. Like they can't act. I felt he was really good. Like he was believable. Like if I hadn't watched WWF, which I did when I was younger, I'm like, damn, he's really good.
Well, I think that his WWF career is the very thing that helped him with
because most of it's acting, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen,
you have me on that.
Okay,
yeah.
For anybody out there listening who are wrestling fans, I do acknowledge that it is still a dangerous sport.
Oh, very much.
Okay,
yeah.
They absolutely can and do get hurt, but it is acting.
Yes.
Okay, it is not, real. I mean, it's not like MMA wrestling or or they're not putting them into submissions and triangles and it's but they can get hurt. But I mean, it is acting. And
true, man. I mean, so it was kind of like a natural progression for him, like to do something like this.
Absolutely,
because those guys they are good, dude. And it's very physical, and they do get hurt. But damn, I mean, it mostly is acting. Yeah. When I was a kid, I thought it was all real. I was I was younger and I was like stupid and naive, but I thought it was real.
Yeah.
And, it's like with anything. It's like, I won't bring up Santa Claus.
Half of my life, I grew up believing that you could get hit over the head with a metal folding chair and, totally take it.
Yeah.
Be like,
yeah. Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah,
but he was great in this, man. And Keith David is Frank. So we'll go through the characters really fast. You got Nada, which is Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Frank is Keith David.
Yep.
Holly, the Drifter, which it's weird they call him the Drifter, but he comes into play. And Gilbert, and then the Street Preacher, and there's a few other people, but
that's
I don't know
pretty
if they're
much the
main the main characters here are Nada, Frank, and I would almost say Holly and maybe Gilbert. But
I call her the White Walker.
The White Walker.
Rick, she has got the bluest, iciest blue eyes I have ever seen on a human being.
Do you think those were real?
They were real.
Dude, I mean, they're creepy.
Yes.
They look like
White Walker. Rick, White Walker.
Dude, I was like looking at her eyes, and I remember seeing her in other movies, and I want to say maybe Leviathan, and I think you're right. Her eyes were just as blue.
Dude, every single time she was on screen, I was fixated
On her eyes.
Yes.
It's distracting.
Yes.
I almost thought she was blind. Like, when like blind,
cataracts or
like blind people sometimes like the eyes will change a different color than your normal color because of whatever, some sort of pigmentation. I don't know.
Right.
This was like, damn. I mean, it was crazy on how it was.
They're so piercing and ice blue. Like the lightest icy blue I've ever. And every time she was on screen, I just was like I just totally fixated,
Yeah.
I could not stop looking, and then I'd get distracted, and I'm wait, what just happened there?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
Rewind it. Yeah. Anyways, but I mean, I don't know. Her role in it was.
Her role to me was predictable. What I didn't understand.
Yeah.
What I didn't understand is Nada. He's a construction worker, right? He comes. I think he left Detroit because everything dried up.
His family's there. So
that was Frank.
Oh, sorry, Frank.
Yeah, Frank's wife and kids
That's
are
right.
somewhere. Where did
I thought they were back east, and he went to California.
Is this in California?
I think it's in
thought this was
California.
Cleveland. I don't know why I think it's Cleveland.
All right,
but maybe. But I thought when Nada's character was sitting with the unemployment lady.
Yeah.
Or I swore he was saying, I came from Detroit because,
he did say that.
The steel mills. I thought he said it could have been Frank, but
no, it was him.
Yeah. So, I mean, he comes into town, right? I mean, just kind of rolls into town, just kind of looks run down, exhausted. He's got the backpack on. And then, can't find a job. And then he comes to this kind of construction site, right? And asks the foreman, hey, you looking for people?
Yeah.
Hey, he's got a job. That's where he kind of befriends Frank. And Frank's family is wherever they're at. Wife and kids. He had to, which is, I guess, I was trying to understand this, and I'm sure this is it. Wherever they're at, he couldn't bring them because he just needed to get established in this city.
That was the impression I was under.
That would be so difficult, man.
Yeah.
Now, what I love that John Carpenter did on this is he really kind of touched on the homeless situation because in the 80s is when the homeless really became more, I guess, more noticeable. People started talking about it more.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in the 80s, like, when you're a kid, you just don't pay attention to that stuff. Then all of a sudden, as you start getting older, as I'm approaching, late teens in the 80s, I'm starting to notice this more.
Yeah.
And so John Carpenter, he did a thing. He's like, look, I'm kind of, I'm doing several messages here, but look at the homeless situation,
All right.
And so they go to a homeless camp, I guess, like a little.
It's basically just an empty lot across the street from a church.
And
that's all it really is.
And some families and again, probably, they're homeless. They, I don't know, a string of bad luck. Who knows? I don't know all their stories. But, Frank takes Nada there and, he's looking for a place, right? He's living on the streets right now. No food, no money.
Yeah.
And so, but this is what I didn't understand. So he was very quick and smart to catch something was going on. Like, it took him literally a day.
You're talking about Nada.
Yeah. Like, it didn't take him long to figure it out, but he could never figure out Holly was, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know, though. I mean, stop and think about that. I mean, look, you and I are viewing this movie through a lens of having seen it over and over and over and over again, okay?
Yeah.
If you just met listen, the way he met her was, they were in the parking garage,
right?
Exactly. They were in the parking garage, right? And so he forced her to drive him to, so it was very accidental. So no, I don't think if I were him, I would have immediately picked up on the fact that she was in on a thing. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah, you're probably right. I guess because we've seen this so many times.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, come on, you should know that she's.
Every additional time we watch this and we start to see, things unfold. Of course, we know that there's.
You almost want to slap him a little bit. Come on, man. Come on, Nada.
Yeah. But he is. I mean, he's very, I don't know, curious. He's like during the
curious.
beginning of that movie, he's constantly like looking at,
Yeah, like what's going on across the way at the church?
Yeah. Which is kind of interesting, because Frank very much was not. I mean, he just wants to keep his head down,
Yes,
do his job, make his money so he can send it to his wife, kids, whatever, to help them, maybe get him
back where he's at.
Right. Yeah. And so it's a definite polar opposites in that regard,
Very much. Yeah. Yeah. I tell you this, this is what I love about rewatching a movie is when you catch something new that you hadn't caught before. You may have caught this before. I didn't catch it. I watched it again last night. I didn't catch this in the prior times I had viewed this. Remember, it's at night. And the broadcast keeps coming on the TV, right?
Yeah,
and they're like, and then across the way, you see the blind preacher, and he's mumbling the same.
You didn't notice that
I had
before?
never caught that before, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I don't know why, because it was clear as day.
Oh, yeah, dude. They made it a point.
I know they did. So I'm like, what the hell was I doing all the previous times I watched this movie? But it's little things like that you just, I don't know. You gloss over it and maybe you just never catch it.
Yeah.
Like to you, you're like, you're crazy, dude. Why haven't you seen this?
Yeah. It's funny because I rewatched this last night and I had Shaylee watch it with me.
Oh yeah.
And so she was like, no, I don't think I've seen this. I'm like, are you sure? My God, I don't think I've not raised you right then or something. I'm like, I thought for sure that you've seen it. I'm like, maybe not. So then, she got right around to that scene, or it might have been slightly after that when he actually finds the sunglasses or, in the church.
Oh yeah.
That she was like, oh yeah, this is coming back to me. I'm starting to remember this. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. I knew that I had introduced her to this movie. But one of the things that she, didn't understand, and I actually kind of chuckled at it too. When it happened was, when the church gets raided.
Yes.
I mean, it was some overkill in terms of how many, the police presence.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they had a full on riot.
Dude, it was like yes.
I mean, right. I mean,
yes,
yeah.
a ton.
And Shaylee couldn't understand why was it necessary that they just raised that homeless area to the ground. They just bulldozed all of it,
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good question. Why was that necessary? If they catch wind that there's some manufacturing of these,
because they told the cops that were not, say, aliens, they were terrorists, right?
Right. So it's like, why would you then go and bulldoze this homeless area to the ground too, And the only answer I had in that moment last night was, well, I mean, if you're the man, and you've been tipped off that there's like terrorist activity in an area, well, you're just gonna go through like a locust swarm and just devour that entire area to ensure that
no one sets up shop again, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I looked at it as well.
Excuse me. Yeah, exactly.
What I will say to that, to was kind of to jump on what Shaylee said, not really the fact that it was torn down, but the amount of police.
Yes.
And how the hell did Roddy Piper or not his character just roll up to the one guy that was curled up in the corner and grab him and get into the house almost unnoticed when literally the whole neighborhood was swarming with cops? Now again, you
have to suspend belief.
That's what it boils down to, right?
Yeah. Look, I mean, there's a common thing that for me anyways, with 80s movies is there's sometimes like the plot points aren't quite on point.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Back when we were living through the 80s, this is what we knew.
Yeah.
Right. As the development of, or I should say, the ability to tell a story better in film evolves and gets better,
Yeah.
those sorts of, I don't know what, we would call it now, quote unquote, like, lazy plot points,
Mhm.
are less and less and less and less and less. But I mean, back then, if you were to rewind ourselves to the 80s version of us, we wouldn't have thought it was,
No.
it was bad. It's just looking at it now, through all of these movies over the years that have just gotten better in storytelling and better at,
They have. And I think you and I looking at it through a lens of us being, 50-ish
mhm.
versus us being around that time, we would have been probably 16 to 18, right?
Correct.
So we're looking at a completely different lens and
We
we
are.
view it totally different.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then we throw the fact that we critique these now more so for the podcast.
Uh-huh.
It's almost like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but even
they almost don't stand a chance.
No, they don't. But even, set aside just for podcast sake,
Yeah.
you can, we can look at these movies and see a scene like that and scratch our heads and wonder, oh, come on.
I know.
with like a million police officers in riot gear, come storming the whole area.
Yeah.
How in the hell did he?
What's hilarious? We bring that up, but we completely dismiss the fact that half of the society are aliens.
I know.
And they're like living among us. It's like we're more focused on the fact that how did they get away?
Yeah. But okay, on that larger topic though, I mean, that's one of the things that I think that I love about this movie is that I absolutely could see that, look, whether you believe in UFOs, the existence of aliens, I don't understand those who do not. I don't understand why they do not.
Yeah.
There is mathematically and statistically impossible that we are the only living beings in this entire universe when you're dealing with billions of stars and billions of stars have their own planets, that is fact. That's not fiction.
Yeah.
Just running the numbers, just mathematically, it is impossible for us to be the only living beings in this entire universe, So what feels very real to me and like likely to be is, have aliens visited here? Yeah. Are they here? Probably. And if they are here, let's keep using the if, because until we're shown, definitively, if they are here, I could see it being something like that. I mean, I'm not necessarily subliminal messaging and
yes, I know what you're saying,
keeping us asleep and docile.
Yeah.
But I can see it being they're hidden.
Yeah.
Could be they're in the water. There's so much of our ocean. We've only explored what did they say, 10% of our ocean, and the majority of this planet is covered in ocean. So true. I mean, there's areas of our ocean we don't know anything about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's an awesome place. If you're gonna, if you want to stay hidden, that's where to do it.
It's
you know what I
crazy
mean?
to
And
think
then
about.
they could be coexisting as we speak.
Absolutely, man.
There's so many sightings. There's so many UFO sightings, especially in water. There's been sightings of UFOs over ocean, going into water, coming out of water, you know.
The thing is this, it's like, everything is derived from something, right? Where did you get the idea of a flying saucer or the fact that of what an alien would look like? Because a lot of times they all look the same, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you just come up with that in your head?
Yeah.
I mean, it comes from something, right?
Sure.
I mean,
there always has to be a kernel of some kind of truth for a thing to spring from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, are you an alien?
Maybe.
Are you?
Oh, I could be.
No, you got
bring your glasses.
Get me tripping out. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me put on my Ray-Ban.
I've got one that can see.
Fuck, where did Darren go?
That is one of my most favoriteest lines. And you know what's so funny is my wife will on occasion, like,
she does that?
She does. And she does it so perfectly.
That's so awesome,
like,
Tyra. That's great.
And the timing of it, it's random stuff. It's like I can't off the top of my head come up with a scenario, but she does that line on occasion where it's appropriate for a situation we're in. And every single time it comes out of left field and I freaking belly laugh.
Yeah, because most
you know.
people aren't going to get it.
No, totally not. Because, They Live, to me, it is kind of a cult kind of movie.
Yeah,
It's, I don't know if it's really considered mainstream or, I know people have heard of it.
Say,
but-
and the thing is, I was somewhere recently and there was a debate on, it wasn't like I got into a long debate on They Live. I think I might have been talking to someone. I'm like, yeah, we're going to do an episode on They Live. And the guy I was talking to, he's like, yeah, it's a cool movie, but it's not really a classic. I'm like, well, no, I can't argue with that. I don't think it's a classic, but I mean, there's not a lot of classics, like true classics. But I would say it completely falls into like a cult type movie, right?
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, no, define classic. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think if I'm going to, and again, my definition of a classic horror movie could be different than yours. It could be different than The Guy Next Door.
Yeah.
When I think of classics, I think of, say, I don't know, Rosemary's Baby or Creepshow, or maybe, I'm sorry, not Creepshow, but I'm looking at the Creepshow poster right behind you. Psycho. The Shining, Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Friday the 13th.
Right. Okay.
But Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
People in their minds are like, well, that's a classic. Well, yeah, maybe a classic to you, but maybe it's not to me. Maybe to you, They Live is a classic, man. But we all have different kind of definitions of what that is, right?
So I'll go ahead and answer that. I agree with whoever you were talking to. I don't think that They Live falls under that category. If we're going to categorize what classic is for a horror movie, I don't think it does. But what I do think it does is, to me, it's a classic movie that came out of the 80s.
Yes, I would agree.
Period.
I would agree.
And
it's a classic John Carpenter.
Right? Yeah.
Because he's classic.
He's so classy.
He's so classy. Eventually, one of these days, I'd love to meet him, man. It'd be so cool to sit. I'd always wished like I'd sit down with like someone like a John Carpenter and just have an hour or two just to pick his brain on stuff.
Oh yeah.
And all the stories he could tell you, and
totally,
God, that would be so friggin' cool.
Well, because I mean, they're artists in their own right, man.
They are.
So, being we're both artists, and so you start nerding out with another artist, and even if it's just a conversation about stuff, I mean, that can go for an hour.
Oh my God. Yeah. But all right. So I guess we get back to the movie a little bit here. Let's see. So they raid the church.
Yeah.
They destroy the homeless camp.
Yeah.
Nada comes back. I think, is it the next morning?
He comes back the next morning and goes back into the church because he found their little cubby.
Yes.
The night before.
Yes. And then he pushes that in to grab a box.
He gets a box.
He has no idea what's in the box.
No idea. He's thinking, man,
some money
or drugs. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't thinking drugs, but I think he was thinking, something of value.
Something that, hell, maybe he could sell.
Yes,
I mean, he's homeless, has no money here. And so it's full of sunglasses, which is okay.
And the ugliest goddamn sunglasses.
These are pretty bad.
Oh my God. Even for 80s standards.
These are pretty bad. They could have made them cooler looking. But maybe it's because you had to make so many of them. It's like, okay, well, let's make some really crappy ones. I suppose the aesthetic of it isn't the point. What they could have done, if I'm a manufacturer of sunglasses back in the 80s, and I threw out Ray-Ban earlier, but come on, Ray-Bans were cool back in the 80s. They're still kind of cool these days. Yeah, they are. But they were hella cool in the 80s. Yep. Why couldn't you have slapped a Ray-Ban logo on there? Boom. Ray-Ban has a whole new marketing campaign. I don't know. Their new logo is just like the alien's face. I don't know, man. Eventually, they could just drop Ray-Ban altogether. It's just the alien face. Just a little alien face. It's like, but he grabs the glasses, puts them on. Now he can see what's kind of happening. Yeah. And everything goes black and white. I love that. See, I really always loved when movies flip-flop between color and black and white. Yeah. For whatever their reasons. Yeah. This was great. Watching this again last night going, I love this part. And I'll tell you why. I loved it just in general, but the fact that to me, it almost pays homage to, say, the the sci-fi movies of say like the 40s or the 50s or
Yes.
the black and whites,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And that's what John Carpenter was thinking.
Like
He
War
had
of
to
the-
have. He
War of
grew
the
up on all that.
Worlds.
Yes.
Like, yeah, man.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And it just fit.
Mhm.
It just worked.
It did.
And he's coming across signs everywhere.
Billboards just
just crazy.
That are like marry and
yeah.
reproduce,
Obey, consume, sleep.
Stay asleep.
What is it? Do not question authority.
Yeah.
And this shit is everywhere, man.
It is.
And he's walking around and
and they got even drones flying around.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which you can't see without the friggin' glasses.
Yeah.
So that's what's scary, dude. And he rolls up to a newsstand, right? And sees a guy. And yeah, I mean, he's clearly an alien.
Oh, yeah.
And probably a douchebag on top. It's funny how it seemed like most of the people at first that he could see were aliens were douchey, rich.
Completely.
Again, goes back to the message of,
consumerism.
And so, yeah.
It's almost like a reflection. It's almost as if you take the douchiest, shittiest individual human being, right? Just rotten to the core. And you like look at the inside of that person, and I don't mean literally the inside, but like, you know what I mean? With a mirror.
Sure.
And what's reflected back is just, an alien that is essentially capitalizing on right.
Yes, they all are.
That's the premise of the movie.
This whole message here is money, 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 man.
Yeah.
This is what this whole thing is about. The humans are selling out.
Correct. Just to get a piece of the pie.
Yes, man.
It's like, will you sell your soul in order to have the good life?
Yeah, man.
Everybody wants it.
Yeah, I know, right? And so he's flipping through the course. We see he's flipping through the magazines and he's seeing all these messages and he's wandering. He wanders into the store, right? It's a little convenience store.
A little, not quite a full blown grocery store, but like a
little convenience store. Of course, he sees more of them and he starts his little spiel. But I think that the longer these glasses are on, it messes with basically your. It makes you tired. It kind of wears you down, and it probably messes with
Well, no. So what's happening here is that there's obviously a radio. There's a signal that is being pushed out to everybody, which is keeping their brains patterns sedated, and it's keeping them from being able to actually see these aliens. From a human being's point of view, they're seeing consumerism and they're seeing, you know what I mean? And then there's just all this subliminal stuff behind it, that is being fed in by these signals. And the sunglasses would be
like absorbing and kind of.
Okay. I want you to think about it this way.
Okay.
It would be, if you were given a steady dose of, I don't know, sugar or whatever, right? And you're used to it. You've become used to, it's like almost like mainlining this stuff. Okay. It's like a drug, right? And then all of a sudden, it gets cut off immediately. Okay. And so you're going to have
almost like a withdrawal.
Yeah. You're going to have a withdrawal, sort of, the body is going to physically withdraw because and that is what's going on with these glasses. The glasses aren't necessarily the thing causing
his tiredness
and his headache and his all of that he's feeling. It's the withdrawal symptoms from suddenly having those signals cut off.
That's a good analogy. Anyway. Yeah, no, that's good. It's a cool way of looking at it. It's not simply just glasses. It's a little more to it.
Right.
Now is this after he leaves the convenience store? Is this?
Well, now, really quick, this is the scene where he talks to them. He talks to the lady.
Because the one lady, yes.
Yeah, she got her little...
What is I know you want to say this.
I've got one that can see.
Yeah, but what does he call her?
He's all... what do you say? He's like...
Formaldehyde?
He's like, I take these glasses off. She looks normal. I put them on. Formaldehyde face. And then when he goes outside and he sees the alien, the woman, and she's like looking in the window and she's kind of putting on her lipstick or whatever.
Oh
and,
yeah, that's like something on a...
it's like putting perfume on a pig. And she's all, why I never.
Yeah, totally. And then they catch wind, right? And that's when the police confront him in the alley.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it turns out, the police, obviously, at least those two, are aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he whoops their ass.
He does. He actually shoots and kills one.
Yeah. And then doesn't another police officer comes. Now he's human.
So now that's a little bit after. That's when he's on the run trying to, because the next thing he does is he goes into the bank.
This is like the greatest friggin' line ever.
It is. And do you know the backstory on that line?
Yeah, when he was in wrestling, he would write down like little stuff,
That was completely ad lib.
Yep. And he had a notebook and John Carpenter was going through them with him and he's like, this one right here would work. And go ahead, man. No.
Your thing. You throw it out there.
It's just a phenomenal. I think I have a T-shirt somewhere where it says, "I've come here to I've come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass." And I'm all out of bubble gum.
Yeah.
And
it's just the way he delivered that line.
It's just fucking, dude. I love it, man. It's got to be up there with one of the greatest lines.
Yeah, dude. Well, he throws another one out there that Tyra and I just kind of cracked up on last night.
Which one was that?
Well, he says something like, life's a bitch and she's back in heat.
Yes.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I remember that one.
The one-liners, man.
Dude, what does he say to the cop? That he beat your feet?
Beat your feet.
Beat your feet.
Beat your feet.
What is that? Some get the hell out of here, basically. Get out of here.
It's basically just beat your feet on the pavement. It's like essentially get out of here. Run.
Get out of here. Yeah. But yeah, dude, he wastes a bunch of people right inside this bank. This was a bank, wasn't it? Wasn't it a bank that he went into? Yeah. It was a bank. He wastes a bunch of people. And
he wastes a bunch of aliens.
Well, yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we gotta be clear here because he's not on a rampage or anything.
He's not killing humans here.
No.
He is only killing the aliens.
Right. But of course, from everybody's perspective,
exactly.
This is a gunman that just came in and started.
He went all wacky.
Yeah.
And started mowing everybody down. But then he gets out of there, and then at some point, is that when he runs into Holly?
Yes,
he's being chased.
Yeah, he is, but I believe it's the parking garage.
I think you're right.
That's where he runs into her, and Miss Blue Eyes,
Miss piercing blue eyes that had you in a trance.
Jesus Christ, man! I still
the Holly trance.
Seriously, yeah, I think that's where the freaking signals were coming from. They're radiating out of her eyeballs.
They could have been.
Seriously,
he. I'm not going to say really kidnaps her, right? But he needs to get the hell out of there. Hey, let's go. So they go back to her house. She's scared, like I guess any person would be, right?
Oh, by the way, it just popped into my head. Feast was the last movie that we did a podcast on.
Oh, crap. Yeah, you're right.
And I crapped and shit all over that. Anyways,
you took a big dump on that movie.
Literally, I did. It just literally popped in my head just now.
Yes, thank you.
That's what happens when you get in your 50s.
It's just some random shit comes into your head.
You can't remember earlier, something pops into your head.
I find it anymore that I either have to write it on a Post-it. I know this is going to sound so stupid.
So then you run around your house with just Post-its all over your body.
Look at this right here. Look at Post-it. I wrote this last week.
What does that say?
I can't. I'll tell you later.
Oh, okay.
But I wrote this, and because you and I were going to record this last weekend, and we didn't, and I'm like, oh crap! If I don't write this down, I'm going to completely forget. So I wrote it down last week, and I have it literally in front of me. Or what I find, this is
all prayers be Post-its.
This is what I find. This is how when you know you're getting old. I will be downstairs and I got to go upstairs to get something. And then I literally walk upstairs, which is 30 seconds later. And I forgot what I was supposed to get.
Oh, that happens to me. I hate that.
So what I do these days,
you posted it?
No, this is going to sound so stupid, but it's okay. I'm going to share it with the listeners. So if I have to do something and I'm not ready to do it, like say I'm gonna do it 5 minutes later, I cross my fingers. So check this out. I know it's bizarre, man, but I cross my finger on my left hand.
Okay.
And for some reason, 5 minutes later, I still have it crossed and I remember what I need to do. That's how
Wow.
bad it has become. That's how that I think that is part of getting older. And then the sort of job I have to remember so much stuff. And that stuff has pushed out everything else these days. That's how bad it's become.
Wow.
And I'll remember.
I don't know. I don't know what I am intrigued more by. The fact that you are crossing your fingers to remember a thing, or the fact that you can't actually remember. Like it's almost like
weird,
you.
right?
It's almost like you like cemented the memory into your brain and associated it in that moment with the finger cross thing.
I know.
It's like, wow. Dude, that's almost a superpower.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Everyone else is probably going, God, that Rick is fucking crazy.
Yeah, either that or you're just a whack-a-mole. But
I think it's just, like I said, it's age has caught up to me. And then the type of job I do, it's just has pushed out all other stuff. And so I find like I got to remember so many things for my job.
You've reached the limits of your bandwidth.
I have.
Yeah. So anything going in, something's got to come out.
It's pushing out memories, like when you and I used to hang out, when we used to say do our clubbing back in the 90s.
Well, let's just hope your ability to wipe your ass doesn't get pushed out, man.
Oh my God,
then
it'd be
again,
terrible.
you just grab a
what did I forget to do? What's that smell?
Yeah.
No, that's perfectly fine.
Why are my butt cheeks squishy?
I'm good there. I tell you, man, it sucks getting old though. But Nada takes he kidnaps Holly. They go back to her house.
Yeah.
He tries to explain to her. She's really not having it.
She got
right?
a nice pad, man.
She has a nice pad. I didn't really catch it until after he got thrown out the window. I'm like, look at that view.
Yeah.
That view is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not so gorgeous for him as he was on his way down.
Yeah.
I know what she did. I mean,
she went to grab a bottle to have a drink.
Yeah.
She had the bottle in her hand, and when she had a second to react because he went to do something.
Yeah.
Clocked him in the back of the head. He flew out the window.
You know what's
was
funny was that she said, and I think Tyra and I actually we commented on it. She's like, I'm thirsty. I'm gonna go get a drink. And
yeah,
it's like she comes back with wine.
I think it was almost looked like vodka or something.
Whatever
something
it was.
like
it was
that.
It was alcohol.
It was alcohol.
And I'm thinking to myself, when I want to get my drink on, I'm not saying I'm thirsty. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. Dude.
Just like you're going to get water.
Yeah,
but not
you're going to go in
vodka.
not vodka. I'm thirsty. Let me go get the bottle.
Like if you thinking back, like to her situation. Okay, I'm being kidnapped. This guy, we think he's just. We think that she thinks he's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'm thinking in her, I'm trying to get in her head. Okay, well, let me see. I can go grab a bottle. I can have it in my hand. And when an opportunity comes, I can bash him over the head, which is exactly what she did.
But if I'm remembering right, some of the things he says to her is what makes her clue in that he's on to stuff.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
We don't, and he doesn't know it at the time that she's actually in cahoots with these aliens, but whatever it was he said makes her aware that, because up until that point, I think she just figured he was some wacko. Who obviously got himself into some trouble and now he needs, but I mean, it was at that point that I think that she took the opportunity to go and whack him over the head. And like right afterwards, after he,
oh my God,
escapes out her window.
Yeah.
She gets on the phone and starts.
Yeah. You think the way they're trying to imply it, oh, well, she's just calling the police. But no, she's talking to whoever. She works for like a cable company, right?
It turns out the company.
The company.
Yeah.
And so what I think maybe we could probably like fill in the gaps. There was 2 calls, right? One was to the whoever that at her cable company, these aliens. The other one was to the police.
Yeah.
And so shortly thereafter the police come. He kind of hides out, and then he I think he sleeps in like an alleyway, and then he goes to see Frank. And
is
that what?
So
happens?
remember,
he has to go and get.
He goes to get the glasses. Well, the box, because remember he put the box of glasses in the garbage can and put a bunch of shit over the top of the garbage can.
He did, but doesn't he go see Frank first? Because then Frank comes and throws him the money. Remember in the alleyway?
Yeah, no, true.
Okay,
true. Yeah, I thought you were getting to the most iconic freaking fight scene ever.
The friggin' fight scene.
My opinion. I don't know. There's been a lot of fight scenes filmed with yours, but this one is a 6-minute long.
This is a cool fight scene. Like I don't know if there's a lot of fight scenes that compare to this. And when South Park spoofs you, because in one of the episodes there's a fight scene in South Park.
Mm-hmm.
This was years ago. They did the episode, and they basically, I think, almost scene by scene spoofed this whole 6-minute of kicking ass. And so when South Park does that, I don't know, man. I don't know what other. I'd have to rewatch, like, say, the old Clint Eastwood movies, Any Which Way You Can, Any Which Way But Loose, because those are about fighting.
Yeah,
do you remember those?
I remember those.
And they have some really cool-ass fighting scenes.
They did.
I haven't seen them in a while, so I don't know. But this fight scene is fucking awesome, dude.
Well, I think the difference on those, because I remember those movies, that was like kind of like, I think it was like bare knuckle.
Yes, it was.
Fight. Yeah. And they were good.
Yeah.
I mean, they were good. Clint Eastwood.
Oh yeah, man.
Back in his prime. This was different. This had it had a wrestling vibe to it.
It did, and which makes sense, right? The fact that Roddy Piper was, and I'd read that, and you probably read this too, that they had practiced this for like a long time, because initially it was supposed to be like some short, who knows, 30-second fight. And then they showed John Carpenter what they had been rehearsing and practicing. He's like, yeah, this shit's going in the movie.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, so, the entire reason that even starts was because, all Nada wants to do is have Frank just look through the glasses so he can start seeing these aliens, and Frank's not having it. Because, from Frank's point of view, he's a murderer.
Yeah.
Because, he's all over.
He
the
barely
news.
knows this dude, right? A day or two.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, he sees that he killed all these people.
Yeah.
He just, oh my
He's
God.
like, you're bad news, man.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me put yourself into Frank's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this guy. I've known him a couple days.
Yeah.
I see the news and he's literally killed, let's call it 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to give him money for a week's salary? Hell no.
No.
I'm not doing it.
No. You see, and this is, again, this is another one of those plot points in an 80s movie that you just sort of have to
you have to just go, okay, it's whatever,
it's needed in order for them to be able to
have this kick-ass
fight. Right. Yeah.
And this is 6 minutes of just, this is all kinds of good shit. You can tell, look, with Roddy Piper's background in wrestling, I mean, there was a lot of that in there.
Yeah.
And what I love, dude, it wasn't like, because I mean, if you think about it, like, I mean, Frank is a good sized dude, Keith David, but Roddy Piper's dude, he's fucking ripped, and you're thinking this is going to be one-sided. And of course dude, I would almost argue that Frank whoops his ass.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, look, Nada gets his licks in.
Sure.
But I mean, Frank holds his own.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, I mean, it's two guys, like 230 pound plus 6'5" guys. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah. And both of them. I mean, it doesn't matter that, because Frank's character, I mean, he's a big dude.
He's a big, construction worker and just kicking.
Dude. Okay. I got to point out a thing.
Yeah.
And I know that it was done for continuity. But you remember the first time we see Frank, and he's doing his construction, he's swinging the hammer, whatever.
Yes.
He's in the purple tank top.
Yeah.
Then the next time we see him, he's in a purple, like same color, but it's like a long sleeve shirt.
Oh, really?
It's like I
didn't catch that.
Yeah, same color. It's like they got this guy in the same color throughout the entire movie. It's like purple is his.
That's his color.
That's his jam, dude.
That's
like,
his
I guess.
color.
I guess.
Well, purple was a popular color in the 80s.
Well,
more fluorescent though.
Well, yeah.
No, I didn't catch that.
Yeah. And then, my other takeaway was after that fight was, good Lord, back alleys are grimy. Did you see the state of their pants after that fight?
I know.
Ugh.
I love this is what I dug about this fight scene is Not, it was cool. We already know, we've established that. But I love when Nada swings the 2x4 and breaks the window, and it's just like this moment of, oh shit.
Well,
and they kind of laugh at it, but
that was Frank's car.
that was, where did his car come from? He's homeless.
Well, Frank's not.
Yes.
I don't think Frank was homeless.
Okay, so tell me, at what point do you know that's his car?
Because he react like, okay, this is why I was in the impression that was his car.
Okay.
So Nada swings the 2x4, right?
Okay.
Frank gets out of the way from it, and it bashes the back window.
Mm-hmm.
Nada reacts like, oh shit. Like I just destroyed the window of dude's car. It wasn't what I was trying to do. He literally reacted like that. He was like,
yes,
oh shit.
That was the reaction.
And then he kind of smiled a little bit because it was a little bit funny. And then, but then Frank reacted like, you motherfucker.
So this is now, and I let me tell you what I think.
You think it's the fact that he just picked up a 2x4
and swung it, and I think it was the reality that I could have just did this to Frank, and he's not my enemy. He just won't put on the glasses, and so I'm mad. Frank's homeless.
You think that's what's? See, I didn't get the impression Frank was homeless. I got the impression that Frank living in some hotel somewhere, maybe.
No, dude, that's why he went to the homeless camp or whatever.
See, I thought the reason was because when they first met. And he goes, hey, look, if you're looking for a place to live, there's a homeless shelter, over here. I go by that way. I'll take you if you want. That's what he said.
He did say that.
He did.
I thought he said, I'm going that way.
Whatever. He's going by it. That's the direction he's going in.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll take you there if you want. And so then that happens. So the impression I was under was that Frank's not homeless. He'd been holding down the job. He might have I don't know. He may be living in a hotel or something,
That is possible. I can't argue, but I guess my opinion is that wasn't his car. Because then why is he not driving it?
I think I'm on board with you. Okay. So I think I've switched, but I don't think Frank is homeless. I don't think he is, but I agree with you. I don't think that was his car.
Yeah. I think it was simply because when he's, we know not as a big dude and you're swinging this 2x4 and you just broke this, that could have been Frank. And I think he's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
And so that's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so.
I'm with you.
But he finally gets the fucking glasses on him after I'm like, dude, these guys have just been beat to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their clothes are so
fucked up, dude, and just they're swollen and beat down, but he got the glasses on him, and it and so now Frank sees what Nada's been seeing, and
drone flies by. He's all, what the fuck is that?
Fuck, dude. Yeah, we could have avoided all this ass whooping.
Yeah,
you just put on the glasses.
Goddamn glasses, man.
But they checked themselves into some beat down motel. I don't know, Don't they?
Well, they do. And I just wonder if that was Frank's room.
You think that was Frank's place?
I do. Yes,
because
I do.
he looks at the guy at the front desk, the clerk or whatever, and he goes, kind of gives him a look like, we need a room. So I don't know if that was his room, dude.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't.
I don't know, man. I still contend that Frank is homeless.
I don't think he's homeless, dude.
Any listeners out there, you've seen They Live, please chime in. Shoot us a message on Instagram or something. I'm curious.
I don't think he is, but I'm gonna look up this.
I think Frank's homeless, dude. I really do. I get this impression that Frank just got this job and he's slowly, maybe making some money. But I don't know, man. But anyways, they check themselves in the hotel. That's when we see Gilbert again. Gilbert's kind of like the head of this kind of underground. What are these people? Like, they're like a group that are trying to get more people.
It's a resistance group.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I was looking for the word. He's like the leader of this resistance, the stuff we're seeing on the TV, the in and out of this programming is, they're just trying to get to a wider audience. They're trying to get more people aware of what's happening. And so So Gilbert sees Frank and Nada. Look, you guys. Hey, we've reset up our area. Come check us out tonight. We have a meeting at whatever. And so they get there, and there's some more people there. And they got plenty of weapons.
Yeah.
They now have some really cool contacts, which I thought was hilarious.
Okay, which is hilarious.
Like, where did you get that made? Was that Bosch and Law? I mean,
I know, seriously, right? But what was funny to me was when they were putting them on. Dude, it's like, look, I didn't like them. They didn't really work out for me. But my wife and I tried, contacts, these multifocal, because we're old. Because we got sick and tired of wearing the goddamn glasses, you know? So we tried them out, and you don't get them in like the way they were doing it in like all of 2 seconds. That doesn't happen. You can get pretty adept at doing it, but it take a minute.
It takes a while. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. I just thought it was funny that you went from glasses to contacts, which is the natural progression, right?
Yeah.
But who the hell did you get them? Who made those for you?
I know, right?
You're like going to the little eye doctor down the road. Hey, we need.
Well, in their defense, they're not some kind of prescription. I mean,
true.
All they are is coated with whatever is coated with to block the signal. So I mean, it stands to reason if they were able to make lenses, they could shrink them down.
It's true. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I would almost love to see almost like a backstory to like how this resistance came about, and more of, you can't do that in an hour and a half, but you could do it as almost like a short mini series, right? Like a They Live mini series, and go back and maybe tell more of the backstory and how this resistance came about to find, I don't know, shit. I love going back and thinking of shit like that. That would be kind of cool. They're not going to do anything like that, but hey, John Carpenter, if you're listening, hey man. But they show up to this meeting. Of course, there's not a lot of people. Holly's there. Oh, I'm so sorry. Her and her crystal blue eyes.
Man. Oh my God, those eyes.
I will say this: if you didn't catch wind that she was part of this alien thing, she talks so softly, and she seemed very remorseful that she did what she did to Nada, right? Like, you hear it in her voice. Are you okay? I'm so sorry. And very soft, and you're almost like, okay.
Yeah, I think that was just misdirection.
It's misdirection.
That's all that was. Yeah.
But shortly thereafter, they raid the place, and they're mowing. The alien / cops are shooting most of these people, right?
Oh, well, yeah, pretty
Almost
much all of them, man.
All of them. And I think the only 3 that I think get out of the building is Holly, Nada, and Frank.
Yep.
And of course, she disappears.
Yeah.
She just conveniently disappears.
Yep.
And at this point, people, it's like, come on, really?
Yeah.
Come on, Nada,
Yeah.
And Nada and Frank end up in this alleyway again. A lot of alleys in this.
There is, yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah. And isn't it there where they see the watch?
Yeah. Well, they had the watch. I think Frank had grabbed the watch because he was talking to someone inside the little meeting area about, have you guys figured out how this works? And Nada's like, well, I've seen them use it once.
Yeah.
And it basically opens up like a portal.
But this one was malfunctioning because
it
opened up that portal in the corner.
It did.
And then it was all like, you've got.
Yeah, what does it say? Your watch is malfunction.
Yeah.
And then it's this hole. And so Frank jumps into it, and Nada's trying to kill some more aliens, and he jumps into it at the last minute.
With 1 second.
With 1 second. Yeah. Got to build up that tension. Is he going to make it?
Yeah.
And then it's almost like they fall into this. What did this feel like? It almost felt like an underground,
look, if it was like a underground missile silo bunker type thing where, it's like one of those big tunnels where one of the golf carts would drive.
Yes. There you go. Yeah. This always cracked me up, dude. Oh my God. And this is so 80s, but when the 2 security guards like, hey man, they did it. They wiped him out. And then there's some dorky, stupid high five. And I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Yeah. That was a scene that I was kind of just like,
yeah,
oh,
dude, I
Lord.
always cringe with stuff like that. I'm like, oh Lord, couldn't you reshoot that or just throw it out? It's
Yeah.
just not necessary.
In fact, I think I literally last night, I think I like repeated the line because I thought it was so.
It was so corny,
Hey,
dude.
we did it!
Hey, we did it. Let's high five each
High
other.
five each
Woohoo.
other. Stupid.
But they bump in. They go to this meet. It looks like a meeting of all the.
It almost seems
the
like a
elites, right?
shareholder
Yeah.
meeting or something. Like,
Yeah, it's like all this all these elites, right? And it's like some sort of meeting of like we're here to say, hey, how much money we made, and blah blah blah.
yeah, I almost expected Mr. Deeds to fucking show up.
I know, right? Mr. Deeds. That's funny, dude. So then they meet up with the Drifter,
Yeah.
which he was homeless. Remember that he was the homeless
Yeah.
guy earlier on in the movie.
I always wonder. It's funny because you had mentioned like you rewatch and you kind of pick up on stuff.
Yeah.
I had always wondered what in the hell like this guy goes from like a homeless little shanty town, shelter. So wearing a tuxedo, and then I realized, oh no, it was he sold out.
He sold them
Yeah,
out,
he
man,
sold
just
out,
for
man.
some dead presidents,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah. But so he gives them a tour, right?
Yeah.
He kind of gives them the tour of the place. I think he makes himself sound like more important than you
Then he
really
actually-
are.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
dude, just a day ago you were homeless.
Right.
And now you're in a tuxedo and all.
Yeah, yeah.
But he gives them the whole he gives them the tour.
Shows him the teleporter.
Yeah, shows them
which is funny. It was
which
like
is kind of cool,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's like this little thing that just shoots them to like another planet.
Yeah, it reminded me of Galaxy Quest. Have you ever seen that movie?
See, you again, because I'm not so much into sci-fi. I haven't seen a lot of sci-fi stuff. I figured, you probably had like, okay, it's kind of like this or something,
Yeah, like on Galaxy Quest, when they transport like that, it's like this gel stuff like will come up and cocoon them.
Oh,
Yeah, and then it shoots them off and they go through.
it's kind of cool. Though.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That whole idea. I think too. I love again, because I don't watch a lot of them, but I'm sure there's also different takes or ideas of how you're gonna teleport, right?
Yeah.
So the idea of putting, like in this one, it was literally we stand up there and they shoot us off, but that's kind of cool, right? Like this.
Yeah.
Almost like this protective gel comes over you,
Yeah.
and then I just like that idea. Or like
It's an interesting premise though, because the whole transporter thing, and then you start talking about Star Trek.
yes,
Where it like essentially it takes apart a person's body basically atom by atom, and then beams or then wherever the destination is, you get put back together.
That's crazy.
But it's almost it's like almost like a copy of you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, think of it like a fax machine.
Okay.
So a piece of paper gets scanned in, and then that information is little bits, digital bits.
Uh-huh.
And then it gets, obviously the conduit in a fax would be a phone line, but goes through the phone line, and then the copy emerges on the other side, but the person still has their original.
Yeah.
Right. So transporter is kind of similar to that. And there's always kind of been this ongoing sort of joke that like, it's every single time you get on a transporter, it's essentially just a copy of.
So another copy is being sent. So like if you're.
But the sheer amount of energy that it would take to power a transporter is so great that it is literally impossible. So, but whatever, you got to suspend belief,
It sounds really cool.
I
though,
mean, it
doesn't
does sound cool, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to be ripped apart atom by atom to.
So is it possible? No, this is like totally off like topic a little bit, but is it possible then if that's what, let's say is happening, right? A copy of you is being sent somewhere else. Could another copy of you be sent to another destination so that different copies of you are in other locales?
Maybe.
And so all of a sudden
because they end up in a pattern buffer. Your signal, like your bits, your digital bits end up in a pattern buffer, and it's held in a pattern buffer until it's shot to a location. So I suppose, well, I mean, not to get into the weeds or whatever, but there was a Star Trek Next Generation episode that, so when one of them, I think it was a commander or whatever, was down on the surface of a planet, and because of some ionized whatever, like weather or something going on the planet, when they went to go beam him, the crew back up, they were all successful except for his pattern. I guess some dense layer of this ionization or whatever caused his pattern to hit it and then shoot back. So essentially, like the beam out was unsuccessful, but there was a part of his pattern that I guess, or the whole entirety of it, which was still in the pattern buffer. And so a version of him materialized on the ship, but the other version of him bounced back and stayed on the surface. So then from that point on, there were now two of those commanders, and they eventually like hook up, or they meet each other. Yeah. One of them has gone on with his career. The other was left stuck on that planet for years until they eventually came back. And yeah, it was a crazy episode, but yeah, that sort of stuff I always geek out on.
It's really cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
Man.
And they all lived, like from that moment that transporter accident happened, they lived two separate lives, but up until that point, they were the same person,
Shit like that always bakes my noodle, man. Yeah, it's like trying to, and then like you watch movies and like say like the other day I was watching Back to the Future, and then it's like, like you take your 19 whatever it was 85 self and you're now going back to 1955, and then it's all these different things that you're doing. And you're altering these things, and how this shit it's just,
well, it's the whole paradox thing with the time travel, which there's theories that state that time travel can't happen because of this whole paradox thing. It's that whole idea, if you travel back in time and you kill your grandfather, how can you possibly be
right? Yeah.
So if you go back in time, kill your grandfather, then your grandfather never gave birth to your father, and your father obviously can give birth to you. So
exactly,
it's like this loop. Yeah. How does it resolve itself? Yeah, it can't. And so there's a paradox there, and so that's why there's theories that that's the universe's way of course correcting is to prevent paradoxes, is to not allow for certain things. Yeah. Other people say, well, you can travel back to the past because you have a marker, right? I mean, events occurred, so you have a point of reference to go back to.
Yeah.
Whereas you can't travel forward into the future because it hasn't been written yet.
Exactly.
But there's a science that talks about about string theory, where there is alternate, like every decision a person makes, probably down to just the smallest of decisions to the larger ones, affects the course of someone's life. But it doesn't mean that all of the other dozens of decisions that person could have made didn't all actually get made too, but just got made in a layered alternate reality that you're only aware of the reality you're in. It's wacky, dude. It's wacky, cool, but these theoretical physicists, they go down these rabbit holes and they postulate these theories, and some of these theories are based in science.
Yeah.
And it's not just hyperbole and just talk. It's
they're not dropping LSD and just coming up with some wacky shit.
Exactly. They're not doing this. It's all based in real.
Yeah. It's real interesting, man.
Yeah. So you think about that. Well, then possibly you could travel into the future. Maybe you could.
Crazy though. We had to think about.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure how we got there, but it's those rabbit holes that we go down.
What were we talking about?
Well, I think we were talking about the teleporting. Because he was given the tour, and then
there's a room. Okay. So, anyways,
so we get up to the area. He's like, hey, you're the guy that we think you're the guys. Can you get us inside the? You know? And then the dudes are like, are you crazy?
Can you give us the grand tour?
the grand.
Grand tour.
And so the guys that are guarding the door, like, yeah, that's not happening. Of course, Frank and Nada blow him away. Then there's a lot of chaos happening, right? And you got aliens, and then you got humans, and in their eyes, you got these two crazy guys that are going around with guns. So
essentially from this point out, it's like a running firefight. I mean, they're trying to find the
satellite,
roof.
The roof, because that's where they believe the main signal satellite is. And of course Nada still believes in Holly, and so tracks Holly down. And and if you haven't caught on yet there, listeners, Holly's she's working for
she's a White Walker.
She's working for the man. She's a White Walker. And she's working for the man, and they start heading their way to the roof. Holly takes her gun, shoots Frank.
Yeah, that bummed me out.
That really pissed me off.
Yeah. I did love the way they did the way they shot that though.
Yeah.
Was, it was like, okay, we gotta go to the roof, Nada goes up to the roof and then after he's off camera, Holly just with the gun. Boom. and then they go to black, and then the next clip is Nada up on the roof. Yeah. And so it's like, what happened there.
I was a little bummed. I felt Frank deserved better than that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I like Frank.
Yeah.
And when I don't know, man, I knew Frank wasn't going to survive, right? It was inevitable. He was probably going to die.
Well, none of them did.
Well, I know, but I mean, you know these things, these 80s movies, sci-fi, whatever, horror, action, they all kind of follow this recipe, I guess.
Right.
And you know that more than likely one is going to survive if any. And so Frank, I think going out like that, I was a little bummed. Like I thought he would die. I thought maybe he'd go out in a blaze of glory on top of the roof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of, evil eye Holly, So Nada gets up there, he finds the satellite, and hey, this is it. Is everyone clear? And Holly's like, well, I am. And you're like, you bitch.
Yeah.
And she's got her little tiny little cute, looks like a cigarette lighter gun pointed at him.
It looked like a 22 or something.
Is that what that was? I don't know guns, but yeah. And then we got the helicopters above, and Frank's like, I'm probably not going to make it out of this. I'm definitely not going to join up with you. And so he shoots her, which again, this was funny. You watched this again last night. Where did he shoot her? Because I just saw her fall. There was like, she
shot her in the chest.
In the chest? Is that what you got?
Yeah.
The way she fell was almost like when someone gets shot in the head and then the eyes kind of roll back,
Yeah. It kind of just stiffened up and went backwards.
And so, and then he shoots they shoot him, but he shoots the satellite and destroys it. And then, no signal, know, and then.
Dude, that's what cracked me up was that when Shaylee comments, she's like, it kind of just ended really abruptly like that. And I'm like, well, but if you stop and you think about it, that's a kind of, the little montage of stuff you saw there was basically everybody waking up.
Yep.
And because she goes, well, why there have to be that, why the scene of like the two having the sex? I'm like,
I agree with her on that.
Okay. I'm like, but sure. Okay, fine. But I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
It was funny.
It was funny. I agree with you 100%. I love the idea with the guy in the bar and he's chilling there, like probably hanging out with his friends, watching a show.
Yeah.
And he doesn't realize.
Because it's the vulnerability of it. Yeah. That's why I think they put that in there. Yeah. Think about it, dude. I mean, what is one of the most vulnerable places or situations you could be in?
Yeah.
Naked having sex. That would be one of the most vulnerable places you could be.
I agree with you. You're absolutely right.
And then signal is cut off.
So let me ask you then, because I think I'm on board with Shayla on this. Do you believe it was, I don't know if the word necessary, relevant, Do you think that John Carpenter could have conveyed that in another way other than a quick boob shot at the end? Like I felt it was like a kind of a
no. So let me flesh this out, dude.
Please do. Because I wanted your opinion on it.
The short answer is, of course, they could not have had that scene in there at all, and had all of the other, guy in the bar just chilling, drinking his drink, and he's like an alien. Everybody's looking at him like, what the hell? And all the other little clips that they, of course. But what I appreciated about that was that, again, that was what I was trying to get at, is that, being butt naked, getting your freak on is about as vulnerable of a place as you're going to get.
You are right.
And to convey, look, signal goes off, and now all of a sudden everyone can suddenly see all of these aliens are seeing the world for what it actually is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that stands to reason somewhere in that city, someone's going to be getting their freak on.
True.
And it could be with an alien.
Yep.
And right. And so I think he was just covering the gamut of all the things could be occurring in that moment. And that's and it was funny as shit, dude.
It was funny as shit.
It was funny as hell, man.
What did he say? What's wrong, baby?
What's wrong, man? That shit was funny to me. Oh my God, dude.
I'm on board with you
Hell
then.
Yes.
All right. Because to me, I just thought I was like,
hey,
but now
baby,
I'm like, okay.
What's wrong? What's wrong? What, don't you look my formaldehyde?
All right. I guess so. I mean, I'm on board now. I get it. Because you are right. That is the most vulnerable you're really going to be,
yeah,
right?
Man. I mean,
and so he's just kind of putting a bow on this thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That everyone's lives, they were just carrying on business as usual, even having sex.
Right.
I'm sorry, people have sex.
You changed my mind. You changed my mind.
And then just like that, your life completely is like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
I'm banging a corpse right now.
No, I'm looking at this friggin' alien. All right. I'm looking at it different now. Okay. All right. Because I was on kind of what Shaylee was thinking, and so
she
now
didn't have a problem with it. She just didn't understand. And that happened to be the very last scene.
See, to me, I originally just thought, he found a way to throw in some boobs in an 80s horror movie. And I was like, okay, because they did a lot of that, especially with the slashers. This isn't a slasher. I get it. And that's probably what John Carpenter was thinking. Yeah. You're probably right on the money, dude. So now I'm going to look at the ending of this completely different. I'm still going to laugh my ass off because Rick,
to end on that line. Hey, baby,
what's wrong?
What's wrong, man? It's hilarious.
Oh, fucking hey, they live, man.
Yep, there it is. They live.
There it is. They Live is a cool movie, man. I think a middle finger of John Carpenter to the whole 80s, the decade of the 80s and capitalism and everything else, and all you fucking rich, pompous, stuck up people that grew,
I feel it's timeless, man, because it very much could be relevant and is relevant right now.
It is relevant
maybe
right now.
Even more so right now.
Absolutely agree with you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like if like I was telling Tyra, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I should Photoshop like a certain ex-president, over the top of like the obey thing and and then throw that shit up on Instagram. I'm sure I'd get a bazillion likes as well as a bunch of hate.
You would, and that's why we don't delve into the politics of stuff. I don't at all.
But I mean, it very much is just as appropriate now, if not more, than it was in the 80s.
It's relevant. Yeah. It's relevant, and it's still scary times, man. Like, I mean, I kind of felt like with this virus, we were getting into a decent place, not a great place, and now I feel like we've gone backwards.
Yeah, we backslid.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I would just keep, I guess, telling people without getting all into it, just be careful out there. That's all we can say. Be careful.
Yeah.
Be cautious, right?
Think about other people. We're all in this together. So consider other people, when you're wearing your masks or not wearing masks or.
Yeah. Just, so I think that's it, man. They Live, you haven't seen it. check it out. It's a cool flick. And it's John Carpenter. And yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think that's it for us. Thanks again for, tuning in and listening to us BS. We'll catch you later. You listened all the way to the end. We appreciate that. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Ear for Fear Podcast, Twitter at Ear for Fear, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Ear for Fear Podcast. You can also check out our website, earforfear.com. There we list news and events. We're available on all the main platforms, so make sure you tell a friend. We hope you come back and get an earful.